So communication and interpersonal skills from the foundation of effective supervisory leadership, particularly in public administration, where coordination, collaboration, and accountability are essential. Supervisor must communicate clearly, professionally, and respectfully with employees, colleagues, and stakeholders to ensure organizational efficiency and public service effectiveness. We need to bear in mind that poor communication can result in misunderstanding, sometimes conflict, no, and it can reduce productivity. While effective communication strengthens teamwork and trust, you as supervisor serve as the bridge between management and frontline employees, making communication competence a critical leadership responsibility. I now invite our presenter to explain the principles, techniques, and importance of effective supervisory communication. Go ahead po.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Doc. Good morning, classmates. Today we'll focus on practical communication and interpersonal skills that will help supervisors lead with clarity and empathy. So I'll share some simple techniques that you can use immediately and tools for coaching, feedback, and for handling difficult conversations. So by the end of this session, you'll be able to explain why communication is a leadership priority. Use active listening to improve team trust, give feedback that motivates, and manage tough conversations without escalating conflict. So, why does communication matter? Communication isn't just a soft skill, it's a productivity tool. It drives the team performance, builds trust, and reduces the rework that happens when instructions aren't clear. Simply put, it shapes the very culture of your team and helps you keep your best people. For example, think about the time you had to redo a whole project because the initial email was vague. That is the rework that we're trying to eliminate. So, for core communication skills for a supervisor, think of these four as your daily toolkit: clarity, listening, empathy, and consistency. Clarity prevents confusion, listening uncovers real issues, empathy connects you to your team, while consistency builds credibility. Use them together, not in isolation. So, for example, clarity means saying, I need this by 3 p.m. on Thursday, rather than saying it to me, send it to me as soon as possible. So we'll move on to active listening techniques. So active listening is about giving your full attention. Use reflective statements like, so what I'm hearing is, and ask open-ended questions to really dig into an issue before you make the decision. So when an employee says they're overwhelmed, instead of saying me too, try it sounds like the current workload is feeling unmanageable. What part is the biggest hurdle right now? And also, instead of asking, but not instead of asking telling the person you're talking to that you're interested and you are crossing your arms, try leaning in forward so that the person feels that you are really listening. So giving clear instructions. When delegating, don't just assign a task. State the desired outcome. Be specific about deadlines and standards, and always check for understanding by asking them to recap what they heard. For example, instead of clean the files, try I need the client files organized alphabetically by Friday at noon so the auditors can find them easily. So for feedback that works, feedback should be a roadmap, not a surprise attack. We use the situation behavior impact model or the SBI to keep things objective. The goal is to balance positive and corrective feedback so it stays actionable and timely. So for example, we use the situation behavior impact on constructive feedback example. So, for example, in team meeting yesterday afternoon, you spoke over Sarah 3 times while she was sharing her project update. It made the rest of us lose the thread of her idea, and I noticed Sarah stopped contributing to the rest of the session, which means we miss out on her input. The situation was during the team meeting yesterday, while the behavior, you spoke over Sarah. And the impact, it made the rest of us lose the thread of her idea and notice Sarah stop contributing. So for coaching conversations, coaching is not giving answers. It's helping someone find them. Try options have try what options have you considered? What would success look like? What's one small step you can take this week? Then schedule a short follow-up to keep the momentum. So supervisor is telling and coaching is asking. So focus on the strength and set smart goals together. Simple, manageable, attainable, realistic, and time-bounded goals. Use questions that unlock thinking so your team learns to solve problems on their own. Handling difficult conversations. Difficult, we all dread this, but preparation is key. Start with the positive purpose of the talk. Use neutral languages and always end by agreeing on the next step and documenting them to avoid future confusion. Fusion. For example, I want to talk about your recent attendance because you're a vital part of the team and I want to make sure you have what you need to be here on time and lessen your absences. Next would be nonverbal communication. It's not just what you say, it's how you look when you're saying it. Maintain an open posture, make eye contact, and ensure your tone matches your message. Sometimes a well timed pause is the most powerful thing you can say. For example, if you're giving a compliment but looking at your phone, the message is lost. Put the phone down and make eye contact to show you mean it. Building rapport. Trust is built in small moments. Schedule regular one on ones, do quick daily check ins, and make it a habit to recognize contributions both in public and in private. For example, a quick, hey, good job on that report in the hallway can sometimes do more for the morale of the team moving forward. So, here are some practical tools and templates that we can use. Um, use this template one on one agenda to keep meetings focused, a difficult convo checklist to stay on track, and a simple listening prompts like tell me more. So keep a sticky note with a tell me more on your monitor. It's the easiest way to practice active listening. So I already gave a SBI sample, so I'll move to the next topic. So action plan and commitments. So knowledge is only power if you use it. If you want to choose one skill to practice this week, maybe it's a scheduling focus one-on-one or by simply reflecting for 10 minutes at the end of the week on how you communicate. So for example, my commitment. This week I'm going to use the tell me more prompt at least 3 times. So lastly, the key takeaway. Clarity, listening, empathy, and consistency. To wrap up, remember our 4 pillars. Good communication is a practice, not a destination. If you practice one skill this week and reflect on it, you'll notice real change. So that is all. Thank you.
So, communication and interpersonal skills from the foundation of effective supervisory leadership, particularly in public administration, where again, coordination, collaboration, and accountability are essential. Uh, the supervisor, no, or the effective communication enables a supervisor to clearly convey expectations, policies, and instruction to employees. In a government office, such as city engineering department or supervisors must communicate project timelines, safety requirements, and reporting procedures. Clear communication prevents errors and improves efficiency. So the supervisors must use both verbal and written communication effectively, including emails, memos, and meetings, because communication clarity ensures our employees understand their roles and responsibility. Interpersonal skills help our supervisors build positive relationships with employees, which strengthens workplace cooperation and morale. Let's say, for example, a supervisor in a public school division who listen to teachers' concern, demonstrate respect and support. And this approach encourages openness and trust. No? So employees are more motivated when they feel heard and valued. So positive relationship contribute to a healthy organizational climate. Kasi a strong communication also enhances conflict resolution and organizational stability. In government offices, conflicts may arise due to workload distribution or policy implementation. And the supervisors who communicate professionally can resolve conflicts fairly and prevent escalation. Right. So, this strengthens team unity and productivity. Again, effective communication ensures smooth coordination and strengthen public service delivery. Okay?